Hello children, we are going to start chapter 9. The name of the chapter is Rational Numbers. You started the study of numbers by counting objects. The numbers which are used for counting are known as counting numbers or natural numbers. Now which are the natural numbers? The numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 etc. are known as the natural numbers. Then if you include 0 to this collection of natural numbers, we get whole numbers. Therefore, the whole numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 etc. And if you consider the whole numbers along with their negatives or the whole numbers along with the negatives of the natural numbers, we get the collection of integers. So, the integers are negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 etc. So, we extended our number system from natural numbers to whole numbers and whole numbers to integers. Now, we have already studied about the fractions also. So, the numbers which are of the form numerator by denominator, we will call it as a fractions. And the numerator is either 0 or a positive integer and denominator is a positive integer. And the example we can write 3 by 4 is a fraction, 1 by 2, 6 by 7. So, all these are examples for fractions. And we know that integers can be used to denote opposite situations involving numbers. Integers can be used to denote opposite situations involving in numbers. For example, the distance of 5 km to the right of a place. How will you represent it? The distance of 5 km to the right of a place, we can represent it by positive 5. Now, suppose if you want to represent the distance of 5 km to the left of a place, we can use a negative integer, that is negative 5. Similarly, fractions can also be used to represent the situations, opposite situations involving numbers. Fractions can also be used. For example, distance of 500 meter above the sea level. So, can you write it in the form of fractions? Can you write 500 meter in terms of a kilometer? So, we can write it as a 1 by 2 kilometer. 500 meter is a 1 by 2 kilometer. Then distance of 500 meter below the sea level, what is that? The opposite direction. So, we can represent it as a negative 1 by 2. Negative 1 by 2. So, what about these numbers? Whether they are included in the collection of numbers like integers, whole numbers, natural numbers, whether they are integers, this negative 1 by 2 is an integer? No. Is it a fraction number, fractional number? No. So, we have to include these type of numbers also. So, we have to extend our number system. Now, consider the ratio of two natural numbers, say 5 and 6. Consider two natural numbers 5 and 6. So, what is the ratio of 5 and 6? We can write it as a 5:6. And this 5:6 is same as a 5 by 6. Then consider two integers. Consider two integers. Say P and Q. Consider two integers, say P and Q. Now, what is the ratio of P and Q? We can write it as P:Q. And P:Q can be written as a P by Q, where P and Q are integers. P and Q are integers. And we have one more condition, Q is not equal to 0. Q is not equal to 0. We have to consider two integers P and Q, and q is not equal to 0. Q should not be equal to 0. Now find the ratio of these two integers p is to q. P is to q can be written as a p by q, and p and q are integers and q is not equal to 0. So the numbers which are expressed in this form are called rational numbers. Numbers which are expressed in a p by q form are called rational numbers. Rational numbers. The word rational comes from the term ratio between two integers. So if we can express a number in a p by q form and p and q are integers and q not equal to 0, we can call the numbers as rational numbers. Now consider the fraction 3 by 4. So here p is equal to 3 and q is equal to 4. So it is expressed in the form p by q. It is expressed in the form p by q. And p is equal to 3 and q is equal to 4. We have one more condition. What is that condition? Q is not equal to 0. That means the denominator should not be equal to 0. And here q is not equal to 0. So we can call this fraction 3 by 4 as what? A rational number. So it is included in the collection of rational numbers. Now we can consider another example. Negative 1 by 2. We can call it as a rational number. So the value of p is equal to negative 1 and q is equal to 2 and q is not equal to 0 also. P and q are integers and the denominator is not equal to 0. So negative 1 by 2 is a rational number. So all fractions are rational numbers, and as well as all numbers like negative 1 by 2, negative 3 by 4. Then we can consider another example, 3 by negative 4. This is also a rational number, and 3 can be written here. We can see that p is equal to 3 and q is equal to negative 4 and q is not equal to 0. So 3 by negative 4 is also a rational number. Now what about the decimal numbers? The decimal numbers. Now consider the decimal number 0.5. We can write it in the form of ordinary fraction, that is 0.5 is equal to 5 by 10. Now it is of the form p by q, and the value of p is equal to 5 and q is equal to 10. And the denominator is not equal to 0. So we can say that the decimal number can be expressed in the form p by q. So they are also rational numbers. So in general, we can say the definition: any number which can be expressed in the form p by q, where p and q are integers and q not equal to 0, is called a rational number. So you have to learn the definition. If you can express any number in the form p by q, we can call it as a rational number. We have two conditions. Which are the two conditions? P and q are integers and q is not equal to 0. So all fractions are rational numbers, and the decimal numbers can also be expressed in the form of a rational number. Now we can look into the integers. What about the integers? Now 5 is an integer. Okay, look at that, 5 is an integer. And 5 we can write it in the p by q form. How we can write 5? 5 is equal to 5 by 1. So p is equal to 5 and q is equal to 1 and q is not equal to 0. Therefore, what we can say? We can say that the integers are also a rational number. The integer 5 is also a rational number. Now take a negative integer, negative 10. Negative 10 we can write as negative 10 by 1. It is of a p by q form. Therefore, it is also a rational number. Now, what about 0? 0 is also a rational number, because 0 we can write as 0 by 1. Therefore, 0 is also a rational number. And the decimal numbers are also what type of numbers? Rational numbers. Because any decimal number we can write it in the form of fractions, and we can say that all the fractions are also rational numbers. So, all integers and fractions are rational numbers. Integers include natural numbers and as well as whole numbers. So, we can say that natural numbers are also rational numbers, whole numbers are also rational numbers, and these natural numbers and whole numbers are included in the collection of integers. So, we can say that integers are also rational numbers. So, we extended our number system from integers to rational numbers, and these rational numbers include all the type of numbers like integers, fractions and decimals. Now we have the homework. Write 3 rational numbers, each of whose numerator is a negative integer and denominator is a positive integer. Then second one, numerator is a positive integer and denominator is a negative integer. Numerator and denominator both are negative integers. You have to write down the rational numbers. So that's all for today's class. Thank you.